Why move to Florida? Because endless supply of crocodile and snakeskin themed clothing. Hey everybody, this is Melanie Atkinson, Realtor with Smith & Associates, and today Tucker and I are going to go through some of your questions and comments, and some of them are very interesting. So let's see where this goes. Tucker didn't feel like staying up, so I'm going to answer these questions and comments by myself. The first one is a serious question. I actually answered it online, and the question was from somebody who was watching the Westchase video, and she asked why I personally moved out of Westchase. I thought that was a great question. I typically don't talk too much about my personal life on this channel, but I will for this question because the main reason we moved out of the Westchase area was for one particular high school that was in South Tampa, almost near MacDill Air Force Base. It was the International Baccalaureate Magnet program that we were zoned for up in the Westchase area, but my son at the time was in band, and to pick him up after practices would have been a tremendous amount of time out of my day. I was also ready to build a house down in South Tampa, so that is what we decided to do. I lived in the Westchase area for 14 years and I enjoyed every minute of it. I still work up there a lot, so I'm there all the time. Thank you for noticing that I don't do as much hand talking, Renee. Somebody commented that it's over $500,000 and doesn't have a pool. That is actually a very common price point for this area of town for the size of the house and the size of the lot. It is a 2015 built home, so it does have a lot of nice features. You can always build a pool, but not everyone wants one. Yes, chickens, goats, yeah. So Odessa is actually a really good area if you want to have farm animals. Obviously everything is zoned differently. But there's a lot of horses in Odessa. There's a lot of barns in Odessa. So that would definitely be possible for sure. Okay, so in my bloopers, I say porta potties are a sign of progress. I thought that was really funny, and somebody noticed that and said that that was funny too. So thank you for noticing that. Okay, so Andrew Flores asked, how much money do I have to make to get a house like this? And he was referring to the $545,000 house. Well, I would love to be able to get you a number, but a lot of that has to do with your debt to income ratio and how much you qualify for in a loan. So $545,000 for a house sounds like a lot, but if you spread that out in a 30-year mortgage with interest rates as low as they are, a lot of times the monthly cost of that is not as bad as people think. This particular house does not have any CDD fees or HOA fees, so you're really just paying the principal and interest and escrowing for taxes and insurance. So what that monthly cost would be completely depends on how much you put down and everything else. So I can't answer that question directly, but what I would encourage anybody to do that's interested in purchasing a house is to talk to a lender. The lender will be able to go through your finances and give you a better idea of what you can comfortably afford, because you don't want to get out of your comfort zone. So Mike Fu on my worst things about living in Florida commented, why move to Florida? Because endless supply of crocodile and snakeskin themed clothing.
Is that true?
I have no idea if there's a lot of crocodile and snakeskin themed clothing. The snakeskin trend seemed to be really popular the last couple years, but that one made me laugh. Ropes of Renovation said, oh my God, the love bugs. They're like cement that will not come off. They really are hard to get off your car. If you don't have love bugs where you currently live and you've never experienced them, you really do need to get them off your car as soon as possible because they do stick a lot. You know, I'm not sure how younger people think of the Tampa Bay area if they've never been here. If you're a younger person watching this and you've just graduated college and you're trying to figure out where to live, or maybe you have a job opportunity here in Tampa and you've only heard that Tampa has a lot of retirees and things like that, I would encourage you to come visit. It's really a very vibrant city, especially in the winter months. We have year-round activities that happen here, and the appeal of this area for younger people has grown so much in the last even decade. I've been here for 2 decades. And even in the last decade, you can see how much more appealing this area is for younger people. As far as job opportunities, that's not what I do, so it's really hard for me to comment on those things for people. And I know people want to know that. I just can't get out of I have to stay in my real estate lane here. But yeah, for recent college grads, the housing is more affordable than in a lot of other major cities. There's a lot to do down here. So yeah, it's a great place if you can find the right job. Someone asked about Lakeland, and I get a lot of questions on the channel about other cities in Florida, and I am just not comfortable answering questions about the cities that I don't live in. I can generally answer questions about Lakeland. There's a tremendous amount of growth going on in Lakeland. It's right in between Orlando and Tampa. So if you like a smaller city and you want easy access to Tampa and Orlando, then Lakeland's a nice choice for you. But in general, I don't live there, I don't work there. So it's hard for me to give a lot of really good advice about the other cities. Yes, the oceans in Florida are warm, very warm. In the summer, they're in the high 80s. Aren't they even in the low 90s in the peak of the summer months? It's like bathwater almost. They're very warm. Come to Florida. Yeah, so head to Ybor for fresh rolled cigars and the Columbia restaurant, the original Columbia restaurant. They do have smaller pop-ups around.
This one's kind of interesting. This person says, you have not sold me on moving to Tampa. They feel like the average person can't afford those prices, but in my opinion, I think a lot of areas outside Tampa have very affordable homes. What would you have to say?
Around the city centers, South Tampa, downtown Tampa, the prices are expensive, but in general, when you get outside and you're in the suburban areas, and yes, they might be 25 to 30 miles north or east or south, they're very affordable. I think our average home price, even at the beginning of 2020, in this area is, right around that 260 mark, which again, like I talked about before, from a monthly perspective, that's pretty affordable for most people. The rents here are expensive. It's hard to find rentals here. So a lot of times buying a house can actually be more affordable than renting. Now, obviously you have to qualify to buy a house. And if you need any credit services, or if you need any credit repair services or anything like that, there are people that can help you with that. So Lily asks, I'm planning on relocating to Florida in the next 12 to 18 months from New York City. Right now she's researching, excellent. I'm trying to get as much information as possible. I'm looking to transfer jobs to work at a financial firm, okay. My question is, what are the best areas for single women moving to Tampa? Also, what are some areas I should avoid? I would prefer to buy versus rent. Since this will be a permanent move for me, I don't want to commute over an hour from downtown during rush hour. Okay, so there's a lot to that question. So I'm not sure if she's referring to single women in a where do I meet men kind of way, or just saying that she's going to be a single woman, so she wants to be in an area that she considers safe. I'll answer both. So the best areas for single women, honestly, there's not a ton of areas that I think I would completely avoid. And I can't really say those, as I've talked about in the Safe Neighborhoods video. I can't really talk specifically about crime rates and things like that. But if you watch the Safe Neighborhoods video, that will give you some tools to look up the areas. But in general, an hour away from downtown Tampa is a pretty long commute. So that would open up the areas that you could live in to just about the whole Hillsborough County, even into the Pasco County area. I would say your goal should be to not have an hour-long commute, maybe a half an hour, or even 15 minutes. So think about what type of lifestyle that you're going to want outside of work, and what you're going to want to do and what your budget is monthly. So if you want to buy something, that's fantastic. Once you have that budget in mind, then that will be a lot easier to figure out where you want to be. What type of house you want, if you want a condo, a townhouse, single family home, all those things will come into play. But talk to a lender as part of your research process. Talk to a lender and they will give you an idea of how much you can afford. Now, if you don't have a job here yet, then that makes it a little bit more complicated, but you should be able to get an idea based on what you currently make at your current job in New York City. That puppy needs a chew toy. Tucker has a lot of chew toys. So many chew toys. He likes my hair as it's one of his favorite chew toys, but I don't mind. So Gina Anderson asked about in my bloopers video, who's Archie? And I'm so glad you asked that because there was 2 dogs that showed up in that bloopers video. Archie was my mom's dog. And I was watching him for about a month back in 2019. Or was that 2018? Yeah, so Archie is not my dog, Tucker is my dog, but Archie did show up in a lot of videos. Erik Evolving, just want to give a shout out to you. Thank you for watching all my videos. You're always so nice with your comments. I really do appreciate the positive ones. And Erik Parrish, same thing. You're always watching and commenting such nice things. You know, thank you for the holiday wishes and everything else. I really appreciate that. Okay, so Lodestone 3 actually was commenting that he wanted to see more of the dog, which I totally understand. Tucker is way more interesting than I am. He wants me to do a video on the new Midtown development in Tampa. Tampa is developing an area near Dale Mabry Highway and 275 called Midtown. There will be a really big Whole Foods. There's going to be a lot of apartments, a lot of living spaces there. There's going to be a new REI store there, which is the first one in this area. Just like Water Street in downtown Tampa, the Marina District down by the Gandy Bridge, and Midtown, there are a lot of different areas being developed right now in Tampa. So someone was commenting about the trees in the Westchase video, and he must be from Miami, and said Miami's almost all palm trees. And that's very true. In certain areas of Florida, there's way more palm trees. My favorite palm tree is the royal palm. And those don't necessarily, we don't have a lot of them in Tampa because they do tend to be a little bit more prone to the cold. And Tampa just gets a tad colder than some of those areas. But as soon as you get to Sarasota, there's tons of royal palms. We do have lots of palm trees here in the Tampa Bay area, but we also have lots of oak trees, especially in South Tampa, St. Pete, and things like that. Okay, so Tucker didn't want to be in the rest of the video, but I brought him back out for the end. Thank you guys all for watching. If you have specific questions, please put them in the comment section. I'm happy to answer any one that I think will benefit everyone who's watching. The comments always make me laugh, so keep them coming. I love hearing from you guys. With love, Melanie.